Kimberly from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, January 22nd. Okay, so today we have the moon in Gemini energy, going void, of course, at 3:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're shifting into Cancer energy at 4:52 p.m., which, of course, is the moon's rulership. Now, heads up, everybody moves into their fields when the moon is in Cancer. Everybody feels heavy and weighted. Everybody wants to stay home, wants to nest, wants to stick to what is old, tried, tested, true, and comfortable. There's a lot of emotions that come up with the Cancer energy, especially connected to the inner child and the mother role. And overall, it is just an intense time. Now, granted, we are in Aquarius season now, giving us that observer type of mentality, really aligning with the greater, grander forms of intelligence. And we are popping off with new perspectives. We are popping off with new information, new details, a new sense of knowing. So having the moon move into this Cancer energy is definitely going to prove a very profound shift in our perspective, in our understanding, in realizing what it is that we're moving away from, what it is that we now have a desire to move closer to. But definitely expect there to be a lot of emotional feels coming up, putting us in a very defensive or protective mood and attitude. But we do have the bulk of the waking hours here with the Gemini energy really pushing our mental plane and our heart space to get in alignment, rapidly processing different angles, different perspectives, different understandings, different goals, different ideas, and listening to our physical form and how it responds to the different visuals that we're currently conjuring up. Also here today, this is the last day that Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, will be in Sagittarius energy. We will be shifting into Capricorn energy here on the 23rd. There's an astro forecast out for this. If you haven't listened to your January energy forecast for your zodiac, take a listen so that you know where Venus is going to be setting up shop in Capricorn energy. And of course, there's an Aquarius e-guide out there that will capture this particular topic and theme as we move into this energy as well. There are a lot of resources out there to help you understand not only what this energy means for you, but where it is taking place in your chart, the area of your life that you can expect it to show up in, and the challenges, of course, that it is going to pose for us to kind of override that particular old heart programming. Anywho, having any planet kind of near the end of a zodiac sign means that we're hitting that 29th critical crisis degree. And because of that, there is an intensity. And if you haven't listened to the ascension forecast for this week, I'm going to recommend you do so because we go into depth and detail and talk about how heart activations actually manifest in the physical form, what that looks like, what that feels like, what you can do about it. And especially where Venus is on the move, this is going to be triggering the heart activations that we talked about in that specific forecast. So overall, there's just an intensity for us to bust out and kind of break through and make some changes and really elevate our heart space, our worth, our confidence, our values to a new level. And again, preparing for this major shift, we are definitely going to be in a totally different perspective, different mood, different attitude with our wants, needs, and desires once we shift into that Capricorn energy. So there are 10 different aspects taking place here today. 9 of them are going to involve the moon. So the moon, still very much in Gemini energy, is going to semi-square, creating tension and conflict with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He's in Taurus energy. This is the low and very slow progress towards creating new opportunities, towards really breaking out of what once was and really anchoring ourselves in what currently is so that we can figure out what it is that we desire to actually bring to life and moving forward. Well, this is a semi-square. This is tension. This is conflict, which means that emotionally and mentally speaking, we're not really sure what that opportunity is yet. We're sitting in the options. We're sitting in the variables right now, trying to sort through different visuals to see how it is that our heart and our head actually respond to some of the goals, the visions, the dreams that we're trying to nail down, that we're trying to actually make our target. And so we may not be as optimistic, as confident as we would normally be with a positive aspect with Jupiter, but this is going to put us in a situation to kind of weed out the different options, opportunities, ideas, variables that aren't feeling good, that don't really make us feel like it's something that we can grow into, doesn't feel that it is something that's going to support us for the long term. And so we have to eliminate those particular options. The moon in Gemini going to make a positive interaction with Pluto, the great transformer himself, who just shifted into this Aquarius energy, just had this regenerative renewal type of situation with the conjunction with the sun at that final 29th critical crisis degree in Capricorn energy, again before the sun and Pluto both moved into Aquarius energy. This is air on air action. We love this because, again, air is the element that we've been lacking over the last couple of months. Air is information, it's intellect, it's conversation, it's collaboration, it's downloads, it's intuition, it's knowing. Pluto in this Aquarius energy is providing us with the change, with the transformation in order to have this breakthrough. The moon in Gemini energy, again, air energy, is really kind of processing, if you will, the highs, the lows, the everything in between. This is a good interaction, which means that there's a little bit more of a mental and emotional intensity focused on the things that are making us feel good, are kind of exciting us, are making us feel like there is hope, that there is a new vision, that there is a new dream, that there is a new goal. This is a very powerful type of shift in our mood, in our attitude, definitely having us focused on the bodily responses that we're having to some of the ideas, some of the visions that we're trying to conjure up in our inner realm. We're very focused on leaning into creating the things in our lives that are going to support those good feelings, that secure feeling, that stable feeling, that breakthrough feeling as well. The moon is then going to get in the boxing ring and fight it out with Neptune. Neptune, of course, in his place of power in Pisces energy. This is our intuition, our dreams, our creativity, our soul contracts, our karma. And so this is going to be a tension point. We get into a boxing ring, we fight it out. This square highlights the tension and conflict so that we can figure out what needs our attention, what needs an extra little bit of energy and effort in order to make a change. Tension and conflict is the beginning point of where major changes actually take place. The Gemini energy, the Pisces energy work very well together when they are aspected in a positive way, because the Gemini energy kind of rules over the logical, practical planning process that we have to be in order to bring some of the inspirations, the visions, the dreams that Pisces energy lends us to life. But right now, we're a little bit confused. We're a little bit overwhelmed. We are definitely trying to kind of sort through, process what it is that our heart and soul is asking us to pursue and bring to life. But right now, we just don't know how to do it. We don't know what it is. We don't know where to begin. So this can feel very overwhelming, put us in a situation where we want to numb out, kind of block out the world, live in la la land to try and figure out what it is that we're actually building towards. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with the sun. So the sun is fresh in this Aquarius energy. The moon is in Gemini energy. Again, this is air on air action. When the moon and the sun come together in any kind of aspect, there's an aha moment. There's a new level of awareness. There's a new trigger or activation, a new perspective, new idea coming forth. And because the moon is our emotions and the sun, of course, shining a bright light on what it is that we want to build towards, there is an aha moment. There is a puzzle piece. There is a dot connecting to another dot that is painting a bigger, greater, grander picture of what it is that we want to actually build towards. This is an idea, an epiphany, an aha moment that is going to totally change the game. It's happening at a perfect time because then we have Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire in this Capricorn energy. Again, very low, slow building of inspiration, of motivation, of planning and visualizing, of really honing in on the finer details, the deliberate, calculated moves that must be made in order to bridge the gap from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be, Mars is making a positive interaction with Neptune in this Pisces energy. This is the creative life force energy coming into a new form. This is brilliance. This is intuitive downloads. This is a gut reaction. This is a sense of knowing of what it is that we want to bring to life. This is inspiring. It's motivational. It is very creative. But here's the thing. We're probably not going to tackle the actions that we know that we have to make and take in order to get from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. We're not going to kind of deal with that head on. Instead, we're going to kind of cultivate this inner passion, this inner desire, this inner excitement, and start planning and strategizing how it is that we can kind of create a detour around the problems that we're currently facing when we think about the path, the plan, the strategy that we need to implement in order to kind of, bring these new visions, these new dreams to life. This is an opportunity for us to kind of sort through the actions that we need to take in order to bring this new vision, this new creative force energy into form. So this is a very important energy. This is taking place at 10:07 a.m., again, Eastern Standard Time. We sit in that energy for a couple of hours, and then the moon in Gemini is going to make a positive interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer, in this Aries energy, helping us with this identity shift, helping us really anchor in this new version of self. This, because it's a positive interaction, is an aha moment, is a building block, an amount of growth, an amount of healing, an amount of progress in the right direction. We're starting to see ourselves from a different angle, from a different perspective, from a different set of eyes, and it's in a very favorable light. The moon is then going to directly sit across from Venus. So Venus, as you know, is the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She's in the final degrees of Sagittarius energy. So what can we learn from this? First of all, we learn that the moon is at the final degrees of Gemini energy. It would have to be in order to be in a direct opposition sitting across the table from Venus, who is at the final degree of Sag energy. The Gemini and Sag axis, they're polar opposites. They sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel. Gemini energy is information, what we know, facts, proof, right? Sag energy is belief system, what we believe to be true. And again, belief can only exist in the absence of knowing. You can't know and believe in something. You can only believe in something that you can't for sure prove or know for sure is actual fact. And so this particular opposition is going to put us in a little bit of a tension-filled type of state of being, maybe some anxiety, maybe some restlessness, definitely when the heart activations begin, because essentially our heart space is kind of caught up in all these hopes and wishes and dreams, the ifs, ands, buts, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, if you will. While emotionally speaking, we want to root in what it is that we know for sure. And so here there's a part of us that is abandoning this present moment in order to conjure up what could be, Sag energy. And then the moon in this Gemini energy is like, we're not even dealing with dreamland because there's too many open, loopholes. We want to base our lives off of data, off of information, off of facts. Here's the thing about that though, it's very limiting. And so we have to balance the energies between, being rooted in the present moment, kind of, basing our decisions, our life paths on the actual tangible facts and information and data of the here and now. But we also want to open the door to imagination, to creativity, to miracles, to the fact that our lives can change on a dime and we would have never seen it coming because there's something greater and grander than just this physical realm, just this facts from the environment around us. So we're definitely going to be at odds with ourselves, with our heart space, with our happiness, with our joy, because again, one part of us is living in la la land while the other part of us is anchored in the present moment. This is the point in time where the moon is going to go void of course. And when the moon is void of course, things are shaky, things are unstable, things are uncertain. Lucky for us, we're only kind of sitting in this for about an hour-ish. Again, we lock into that Cancer energy at 4:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a couple of minutes later, we are going to have the very first aspect with the moon in Cancer, and it just happens to be a not so nice vibe with Pluto, who of course is now in Aquarius energy. So fun fact about this, my Cancer placements, y'all are getting a little bit of relief at the present moment because Pluto left Capricorn energy. Capricorn energy sits across from Cancer energy. So there's been this opposition for a very long time now, since 2008, if you want to get technical about it. So there's a little bit of a relief here. However, this is a new foreign territory as well. And so here we are, emotionally speaking, very connected to the past and Cancer energy, looking back on the past with rose-colored glasses, very nostalgic. We want to stick to what is tried, tested, and true. We kind of pull ourselves out of being out in the external realm. We want to stick to ourselves. There's a lot going on in our emotional realm. And here we are making a very tough interaction for the first time with Mr. Pluto, who's now in Aquarius energy, trying to give us this breakthrough energy, trying to show us where it is that we can do better, where it is that we can improve. Well, that all sounds very nice, except for the fact that the Aquarian energy is so rooted in what could be, again, futuristic projections, that this is an awfully uncomfortable situation for the moon in Cancer to be in, seeing as the moon in Cancer would prefer to look back instead of prefer to look ahead. So this is going to be a very intense shift in our mood, in our attitude, likely not feeling good, likely very, very unsure of what it is that we should be feeling at this particular point in time, and struggling to hold on to what once was, when realistically we should be breaking away from that, concentrating on what currently is and what could possibly be in a futuristic sense. But of course, the moon in Cancer does not prefer to go any further than romanticizing the past. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction, lucky for us, with the North Node in Aries energy. The North Node in Aries energy is our soul path. It's the path that we need to get on to get to our next point of potential, our next mission, our next quest. Again, we're talking about the future, which the moon in Cancer, typically speaking, does not like. Anywho, this is a positive interaction that is going to put us in a situation, first of all, to realize where it is that we're not feeling happy, safe, secure, or stable. There is a certain realization with the moon in Cancer that we can't continue to be operating from this particular grounding point, this particular base point. Something's got to give, something's got to change. Even though we're a little bit resistant to the change, we're also very uncomfortable with this present moment as well. So we're going to give ourselves a little tiny bit of leeway, and we're going to understand where it is that we do feel differently about our current circumstances, our current situation. And from that, the parts that we're not so happy with, we are a little bit more willing to think about what we could possibly do differently in order to create a different outcome. This all in itself is a moment of growth, a moment of healing, a moment of repairment that has us feeling safe and strong enough to actually move out of the attachments, looking back at the past, and at least consider this present moment of what it is that we could change if we could snap our fingers in this present moment, and what that means for us as far as building towards something new goes in the futuristic realm. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon and the sun coming together for a very uncomfortable interaction as well. So the moon in Cancer, the sun now in Aquarius energy. Again, we have a cardinal Cancer energy versus a fixed Aquarius sign. Those two don't match. Again, fixed energy wants to stabilize because we've made the adjustments, we've made some changes in our inner realm. And the cardinal energy that Cancer is wants to initiate something new based off of the information that is now presenting, that we don't want to stick to the same old, same old. But the problem is that the moon is, again, very rooted in the past, very much attached to what once was. The sun, of course, in this Aquarius energy, doesn't really care about the past, doesn't really care about this present moment. We want to improve. We want to progress. We want to have a breakthrough. We want to build towards something new. We have new information. We have new perspectives. We have a new understanding that we're operating from. And that means that it's silly for us to hold on to what once was when we know damn well that it'll never be again. And when we know damn well that is actually creating the blockages in our path and our progress to actually move forward. So again, the moon and the sun coming together in any kind of interaction is going to highlight for us a new level of awareness awareness, a new aha moment. And from that, again, this is an uncomfortable awareness. That is how change, transformation actually begins to take place.